We are Studio Cyro. We create handcrafted VR narratives using our VR tool Quill, originally developed by Facebook. We use that tool by basically painting and animating right in VR around us, and it's basically like Photoshop in VR. And we created our Soda Island series with it. A series of 7 episodes telling a little story about our guy Silence traveling across an island that's made out of music, and him as Silence comes in and kind of it all erupts into big drama. Every single episode tells a different story about another little character that we meet. Every episode is based around another technique that we use in VR storytelling, about a new camera technique that we use, or suddenly we are in a race in VR in the 3rd episode and we experience a race, out of a cockpit of a car, and we always try to bring our viewer on a different journey with every single episode. The arc of our series, the character that kind of goes with us on the journey through these episodes is Silence. He comes in, he gets birthed into this world that is based around music, that exists on music, and him as Silence is kind of the antithesis of sound, and suddenly he comes in as that weird black character, and he's not as colorful as everybody, and he doesn't know where to belong, and he's traveling across the island. He doesn't find a friend who understands him, because also he's mute. He cannot talk, and everybody else is having fun, and he is just in the corner not finding any friends. And then at some point he actually finds friends that kind of look like him, other Silences that were also traveling across the island, and they all come together and finally they have that connection. But suddenly all the silence of the island is bundled in one character, and suddenly all the island kind of erupts because we realize silence is needed on this island as to keep the balance of sound and silence. And that's our main story. But generally with every episode we bring the viewer into new environments, meet new characters. You can, if you want to, watch episodes kind of separately. Originally, the world or the IP of Soda Island was actually created years before our studio even existed by Funi, who created the visuals for a music label that called themselves Soda Island. A couple of music artists who created just freelance music, created music by themselves, and they came together as that collective, as Soda Island. And Funi created the visuals, created the world, created the characters in that world. And then when we wanted to create a VR series, we realized that existing world is already great for us. We use that crazy world and tell our little stories in there. And the style of, Funi and also the world itself was perfect for Quill. And it's just very painterly and just colorful and very enjoyable to watch. Yeah, we have 7 main artists in the studio. We sometimes, depending on the projects, have up to 8, 9, 10 people. And we are also not only doing Soda Island, by the way. We have 2 or 3 animation artists. We have 1 main modeler, environment modeler, and we kind of have our work separated that way. But we always try to kind of help each other. We're all kind of generalists, and so I would say 5 to 6 Quill artists who are working with this tool called Quill. It's a VR painting and animation tool where you can freely paint around you and kind of stand inside of your painting, which is such a crazy feeling as an artist, and it gives you kind of a more intimate connection with your art, with the characters that you create. You can stand actually next to your characters, and it feels very, very different to create art like that. It's a very limited tool in some sense, but that empowers us to find those workarounds, to invent new techniques, to use the tool. Our series is entirely created in Quill. We don't use any other program except for sound programs, and we import everything into this one tool and directly export from there, and it's then watchable in VR.
One interesting challenge is that animating in this respect, we're building stuff for VR in VR. So although we can go to our camera position and see what the scene will look like in 3D, you never quite know what a viewer is going to see. You can make good guesses, but you don't have a constrained rectangle like you do on a regular screen, and that can make it tricky sometimes to animate because you don't know if a person's going to be looking at it one way or another, the way that you normally do when you're posing for animation.
Meta definitely was helping us from the get-go. They approached us wanting to make a Quill series with us. They were asking us what we could do, which is where we came up with the idea to use Soda Island and to create this world. And they were founding the series entirely, and that's why it's completely free and completely free to watch in the virtual animation player on the Oculus TV, in the Meta Quest 2 or Meta Quest, on the mobile headsets that are available very cheaply nowadays. You can just grab a headset and watch our entire series for free. Even Quill, as the program that we use, is free. So if you have a headset, there's no way around us, and you definitely just can watch our stuff entirely for free.